Welcome everybody to Rob's MetalWorks. I am so happy to be finally back in front of the camera to bring you the best in San Antonio and Texas metal. And tonight, it's been a long time coming with this band. We had to postpone a couple of times because we're all dealing with the pandemic. But yes, tonight, here in the Rob studio, we have the band WESTCREEK. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
What up, Rob?
It's good to finally be here.
Yeah, great to have you guys here. So much to talk about. And, you know, first of all, I'm a big fan of the record that you folks will surely hear about in April. But I've been privy and I've had it and I've been jamming it. So tonight, you know, we're going to definitely focus on the record and talk all about it so all these people can get it in their hands soon enough. But tonight, you know, too, there's people outside of our city and state who watch our program. And for those people, I want to share a little bit about the beginnings of WESTCREEK because, you know, I first heard of the band, it's been about 2 or 3 years ago now. And then never saw anything really transpire. And Daniel, you know, you were on my program, I think a couple of years ago to support your solo record. I know you were focusing on that, which, you know, was great. So when I heard about WESTCREEK, I was like, oh. And Julian Cruz was telling me about WESTCREEK, and I was like, yeah. But when I finally heard the music, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is great. Okay. So for those people, talk a little bit about the formation of the band. We were talking a little bit about that off camera, but talk a little bit about, because I know you've been involved in other things here in San Antonio. So talk a little bit about how this band came together.
Yeah, so me and John, we met up 2019. Started sending him some tracks, and he was kind of giving me feedback, kind of doing producing on them. I made these changes on these tracks, sent it back to him, and the only word I can use to explain it was magic. So the way we were writing together was magic, and I just knew at that point I need to write with this guy. No matter what we do, I need to write with this guy. Me and him need to be writing music together. And we started writing, and you know, years later, we finally have a full-length album ready, getting ready to release it. We got one video out right now, and we got 2 in the works. So everything's going. It's taken a little while to get there, but the time that we've put in to get to where we're at now, it's hopefully everybody's going to enjoy it.
We're going to get there. Okay. So what year was that y'all got together and started writing?
It was actually February in 2019.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, you know, I know that you're a producer too.
Yeah.
And an engineer and stuff like that. So when you told me, like, Rob, I sent John my stuff and he kind of was producing it, I was like, man, he must really think highly of this guy because he doesn't he do that? And if you know, have another guy messing with your music, which is your baby and stuff, you must really hold John in high regards.
Yeah, I mean, that was really kind of the point where I knew this guy knows what's up.
Yeah.
He knows how to write a song. I mean, of course, I wrote a song. I said, hey, here's my song. He made the changes on it, and it was just like, dude, like, I can't hear this stuff, and he's got a great ear, and I'll send him ideas whenever we're making songs, when we're writing. I send him ideas, and he's like, that's not the chorus. Change the chorus. And I'm like, damn. Okay, all right, let me try another chorus.
Yeah.
I write another chorus. He's like, it's better. Try again.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes I get a little like, damn, dude, like, what are you looking for? Like,
right.
What do you want from me? But, you know, we have some songs that are done that it's just like, you saw it and I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Now that we hear the final product, it's like, man, this. I mean, he knows how to produce. I would hire the guy if I wasn't his friend.
That's really cool because, you know, yeah, you trust him, and then you were telling me like, Rob, like, we just had a connection, and when you said that, you know, I feel you, man, because there's people that, you know, I have connections with as friends or relationships and stuff. You just feel that embodiment with somebody, and when somebody connects with you on a musical level, I'm not a musician, but I can imagine that if someone connects you on a musical level, that you just see the fruits of that labor continue to develop into something beautiful, which is obviously what we have here with West Creek. So, John, do you want to comment a little bit on what you thought about Daniel's music?
Yes. Well, we started back in like February 2019, and I was actually going to audition for his band at the time.
Yeah, talk a little bit about how you guys kind of first met. I think that's important.
He played in a band called Becoming Sons, and I was gonna audition for them. They're a Christian metal band, and hearing their music, and it was good, but it just wasn't my full cup of tea anymore. I wanted to do something different than what I'm used to doing, which was metalcore for so long.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, there's a lot of metalcore bands in San Antonio. I love new metal. I love hard rock. I don't know too many of them that are here, so I wanted to do something different.
I'm glad you used the word new metal. I was kind of sometimes people are afraid to say that word because there's been a stigma after because of the huge popularity of new metal. But and then I was hanging with this friend of mine the other day, and he was like, Rob, like, I kind of feel like new metal's coming back. And I said, I think you're fucking right, because I love Tetrarch, which is a new metal band.
Yes.
And there's that vibe is coming back. So I'm glad to hear you say that. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah.
No, of course. So got into that with him, and Daniel sent me some songs, and I said I would change this, fix this, and he did. And the funny thing is, he works so fast, and he listened to what I said. But then when he gave me criticism, I understood what he was trying to do at the same time. It was easy to make that connection, and we worked so well with each other because of it. Because we put aside everything. It's what's best for the band,
for sure.
What's best for the song,
for sure.
So that was the biggest thing that made it easier. And he's a relentless worker. Honestly, he just works like he'll bust out a couple songs in one day, and I love it because
he was just telling me like Tremonti works all the time, and I think Dan's a pretty modest guy, so yeah, I hear you.
Yes, he's a great guy, great singer. He's just amazing, honestly. Good guy.
One thing I was gonna say, actually, like if we really want to get down to where me and John, well, that's where we met.
Well, yeah, that's what I want. I want the real deal.
Here's some little fun fact stuff. So we actually crossed paths 2 other times prior to February 2019. One time was I used to work in the oil field. You have no time for nothing.
Right.
When I got out, I was like, I'm going to get back into music. I need to make music again. I put an ad on Craigslist. Some dude named John responded. I sent him music. He sent me music. And he was good. I was like, man, like this guy's pretty good. But we were a little bit different at that time. The music we were in different places. So that nothing ever happened out of that. That was 2015. And then to go back even further, I think it was 2010. We were talking one time. I mean, me and him, we talk for hours every night. What we can do with the band, how we can move forward, and then also talking about personal stuff too.
Sure,
hey man,
sure.
What do you think about this? Life advice or anything like that. One thing that we talked about was a drummer that we knew, and we knew this drummer, and we ended up. I remember back in the day, right out of high school, I moved to San Antonio with my father, so I was living in San Antonio. I grew up, out in the country. So I moved to San Antonio. The neighbor played drums. I'm like, dude, I play guitar. Like, let's jam. We ended up jamming out, and he said, hey, I have a buddy who has a guitar player, and he's a singer. You play guitar, I play drums. Like, let's do it. We went to his house. John ended up being the friend that I remember there was a friend there. I just didn't know it was him. Years later, when we found out, hey, man, this drummer? Oh, yeah, we would jam out at this place, down this road. And I'm like, dude, I remember I went with my buddy down that road one time. And shoot, it's just crazy. We met twice before.
Wow.
That was the third time meeting up. And at that third time, that was, the right place, the right time.
Yes.
Sure.
And that's when it worked out.
Yeah. It's just so funny, man, how, we don't think about it, but we live in a small world,
Mm-hmm.
and at the heart of everything, relationships are so important, so important because, if you love the people that you're doing work with, like, I love Thomas, he gets it, what we do here and you guys musically, then, sky's the limit, man. So obviously part of that conversation was, okay, we eventually have to have a band because we want to play shows.
Yeah.
So talk about the introduction of Eddie and Rocco into this band, or let them share a little bit.
I'll go with it. So we got Eddie in the band. I've played with Eddie in several bands in the past. Nothing really went too big, just playing small shows, having fun. And he's actually an original guitar player. But he's an amazing guitar player, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we got him in the band and started getting some of that done finally on bass. And then a little while later, I was looking for drummers. I went through several drummers. I'm the type of person, I go and search Facebook. I search band. I search everything. I look for who I want to fit our sound. Now, I don't just pick anybody.
Right.
And ran across Rocco, and I hit him up on Facebook. And he's like, yeah, I want to check it out and see what you got. And then liked the music. And next thing I know, he's in the band and getting it done.
So y'all didn't really know Rocco?
No.
God, I would have sworn just from hanging out with you guys, you're lifelong friends and shit. The way y'all laugh and joke around.
He's a perfect fit for us. So we knew once we got Rocco, we were final. This is what we need, what we have, and now it's just getting the record out. And
let them share a little bit about how things have been going in WESTCREEK and what is it that you like about being in this band. Because, I mean, I've been doing this long enough, and I've worked with so many bands that I know that, you know, there's the heart of the band, and usually the songwriters are there. And then, but at the same time, you know, not to minimize the other guys who are in the band, even though they might not be, you know, contributing musically, but still the live vibe, playing with the band, the relationship in the band also is so important because that kind of transcends live. You know, when you see musicians play together, you, as a fan, you kind of sense that chemistry and that vibe. It's so important. It's so important.
Yeah, like this group, man. We do have a good vibe. I mean, when we practice, you know, we're always laughing.
Yep.
We all connect, man.
Yeah.
We always talk on the phone, sending ideas left and right, and you know, it's the other bands I've been in. We never really do anything like this, and we're FaceTiming each other for ideas,
great.
shirts, constantly texting throughout the day. You know, and it's a good feeling, man. It's a good thing we got going on here with these guys.
Sweet. Rocco, you want to share any words about that?
Why not? Let's have my door here. Yeah, so John hit me up. It wasn't Facebook. It was Grindr. And he was checking out my feet pics, and he was like, hey man, you play drums? Like, yeah, dude. I'm gonna see what you
Look
got.
at that fucking callus, motherfucker.
Right. What do you think? I mean, you just wake up like this? This takes work. And I was like, yeah, man, send me your stuff. And so I played it, and I was like, well, I mean, it's no Limp Bizkit, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. So you know, we just started talking, and I was like, dude, yeah, it's really, really good. And then I heard Dan's sweet angelic vocals.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this guy's almost as good as, you know, Nickelback. So I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot.
You were telling me off camera, you're like, Rob, you know, I did heavy music, then I got out of heavy music and was doing other stuff. So to get back into heavy music with WESTCREEK, I mean, they must have really made an impression.
Yeah, I mean,
to bring you back.
Man, early 2000s, I was in a band called Falling for Days, and that's when we used to play with Enormity, the heaviest metal band in the world.
Wow. I never heard of them.
Never heard of them? You should check them out because they're amazing.
All right.
And yeah, so I did that for the longest time, and then I actually got out of music for like 7 years, Rob. I didn't play at all. I was running a business. I was trying to, you know, make my dad happy.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm still working on that. That was meant to be funny. Nobody? Nobody?
We don't know if you're playing or not.
Nobody's got
Everybody
dad
has.
issues?
Doesn't everybody have daddy issues? Don't we all have issues?
Yeah, man. And then so I actually started playing in blues
You're like,
bands.
I feel you, bro.
I actually started playing in blues bands and rockabilly bands.
Wow.
And was having a great time doing that. And then, you know, it's just like everything else, COVID hit and everything kind of fell apart. And yeah, out of the blue, John hit me up and stuff sounded great. And
cool.
We just all clicked, man. It's
cool.
It's great.
That's great. That's awesome, bro. Yeah, man. And now, as we kind of are at the beginning of the first quarter of 2022, I'm glad to kind of see things starting to materialize. So, thank you so much, Daniel, for sending me the record. I think I got it, you know, a few months ago at the end of the year. And I remember when I first heard it, I was like, man, this is great. The songs are great. A lot of good vibe in the songs, you know. I'm jamming it, and it sounds so good, too. So we were talking about the release of the debut, a total of 10 tracks. The title of the records is called What's Left of Me. So all you people out there, go ahead and take a look at the artwork right now. This record will drop in April. Be sure to look for it on all music outlets, and definitely you can go to the WESTCREEK Facebook and get more information about that until April. So let's talk about this record now. First of all, is the record done at this point?
A record is done. Yeah, we got it all done. It's ready to go. Just a matter of getting, all the ducks in line so we can get it released. And, and one thing that we've been trying to do since the beginning is trying to go about it a little bit different, trying to go about it professional. Obviously, a big part of the releasing professionally is financial.
Sure.
So we've been trying to get everything set up, but the album is done. It's just a matter of setting that date completely. We are shooting for April, so it's going to come out April. Album artwork is already done as well.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for it too. We're waiting for it to happen.
How excited are you now? I mean, after all of the years of writing and all the back end work to finally be getting this music out.
Oh man, I mean it's even just releasing this first single for the album has been like dream come true. We've never spent the amount of money that we spent to get an album done professionally. We recorded with Chris Mora at the Warhorse Studios, and the quality coming out of there it's just amazing.
Chris Mora,
Yeah.
we love you, brother. We love you. I love Chris Mora because he's so he's so kind of like passive and he's kind of reserved. When you meet him in person. I remember I still am, but I say as a musician, I was such a huge fan of his back in the Darkness Divided days. And I always tell this story. I used to always tell Chris Mora, like I would pull him aside, come over here, dude. You're the future of metal guitar. I would always tell him that because he was so amazing. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you recorded with him is kind of ironic to me and surprising because you produce and record. Mm-hmm. Why didn't you do the record yourself?
So, and that was one thing me and John talked about for a while. Just obviously I can get the job done. I can produce music, get something mixed and mastered, but we wanted to take it to that next level. And we were searching around for studios. We checked a few studios, checked out prices. Mm-hmm. We also, obviously the quality. That's the number one.
Right, for sure.
Let's figure out quality first, and then financial stuff will come later.
Yeah, don't skimp.
Yeah, and
sure.
Chris Mora, I mean, he checked every box. We talked with him because obviously he's a metal guy, doing all the Upon stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, like, have you done any rock bands before? And he's like, not really. And I'm like, well, we're WESTCREEK. Let's get it done.
And from what I hear now, like even Chris Moore is not too. He's kind of pricey now a little bit these days. He's getting there. Good for him.
But he's worth it
for sure.
And then like a good thing about going with Chris is like he could have done it or I could have done it, but sometimes you got to let go of your baby.
Sure,
you know what I mean? Because you take a song that's yours and you can nitpick it to death and never release it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You give it to somebody else and they hear their vision.
Yeah.
And then Chris sends it back and you're like, oh man, yeah, it's really good.
And then you guys can focus on what you need to be doing as musicians.
Yes.
Focus on the performance. Yeah. Focus on, the songwriting and not have to worry about all that production stuff.
Yeah, it took a while to actually record the album, because we all have, full-time day jobs.
Sure, for sure.
We all got our households, our families, so it was like weekend stuff, weeknight stuff. I remember there was a few weeks where, when all the instruments were done, I was doing vocals, and I would go after work, and I'd be there in my uniform, like,
wow,
drinking my tea and honey, and all right, let's record,
Wow.
And, sometimes we were able to do, 2 songs in a 3-hour time frame. Sometimes it took me 4 hours to do 1 song.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So the experience with Chris was great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know. I think, too, he's not just an engineer and a recorder, though, but he's a musician, like you just said. We all know that.
Yeah.
So Did he kind of help a little bit
Oh,
on the
yeah.
musician side too?
Yeah, and that's one thing we told him too, because like John said earlier, our main thing is let's do what's best for the band. Everybody, put your ego aside. Let's make the best product
sure.
we can. And that's one thing that Chris brought is when we were recording with him, he would be like, "Hey man, like why don't we try this? Why don't we do this? Let's do it." You know, and there's a few spots that he actually added that we didn't have in our demos that we did. Yeah, I mean, what he brought to us is just like he took us to that next level, which is why we went to him.
Sure.
So everything it worked out great with him.
Awesome. Yeah, that's so great. The record sounds amazing. The title of the record is called "What's Left of Me," and I remember I'd telling you, like, I never got the title of the record. I got the music. I just never got the title. And you were telling me, like, Rob, you know, so many of us deal with, you know, emotional strife and, you know, family strife, relationships. And when I was listening to the record, you know, a lot of the lyrics kind of fall kind of within that realm. And you were like, Rob, so, you know, what's left of me is like, you know, you still have to continue to persevere after you go through a hardship.
Yeah. I think that was a big thing. You know, one thing I've always been a fan of in writing is, you know, writing about real stuff, because people can see through the fake. They'll see through it quick. So be genuine. So a lot of the stuff that we wrote about was, you know, stuff that we've been through. John wrote lyrics for some of the songs that we have.
Cool.
You know, we just put them in a song form so people can listen to them. But, you know, there's some deep stuff that we sing about. It's real stuff. And I think that's what makes it where people can connect. You know, they can hear one of our songs and know, man, like I'm going through this right now, or I've been through this. Like I know that feeling. And that's kind of where we came up with the album is what's left of me. Like all the BS that you go through life, you know, this is what's left of me at the end. And you got to, like you said, you know, got to persevere, keep living.
What else can we do? What else? Especially like in this day and age, right?
Oh, yeah.
God, it's like, and I think, you know, many years from now, we'll look back at this time. Because I remember a time, and I'm sure you may too, but, you know, before the internet, you know, before we were so info-saturated every day with the world and even locally, you know, and sometimes it just becomes so overwhelming. You know, you hear more about, you know, negative stuff than you probably would, and people are more easily able to share their feelings and turmoil online, and, you know, drama. We were talking about drama earlier, all that shit, and it's like, you know, it's difficult to get. I mean, it's very easy to get wrapped up in that, and sometimes it's difficult to kind of get out of that. You know, that's why I told you guys I have like 100 friends on Facebook. I don't want to hear all your man. I got my own fucking problems, bro. I don't want to hear your fucking problems, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, so you released the first single, "This Life." When was that? It was like a month ago, 2 months ago. Yeah, last month. The single is done very well.
Thank you.
I love that song. I was telling you, I said, yeah, you picked the right song. Sometimes, like, bands will put out the first single, and I'm like, dude, this other song's, like, way better than that one. Why didn't you do that one? But you guys did it right.
Thank you. Yes, it's all marketing of what people get into right away. We wanted to show a different side than some of the other rest of the record we have, and a little bit of a heavier song than what we usually do.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to show that's something heavy up front, and the next one is going to be something a little bit more personal. Hopefully that video comes out in March. We're looking at for that one. That one's called Remember. So, and then the rest of the album in April, like we said. So we're looking forward to that.
Sweet. So 10 tracks. That's a full-length record. You hear a lot about bands these days kind of just putting out an EP or putting out like a single every month for the next fucking year. You know, and I've always kind of been, you know, sometimes I see the strategy, and then sometimes I don't. Because, you know, like A Killer's Confession, which is one of my favorite bands. I love that dude, Waylon. But yeah, they released a song like every month, and then like some months I would like miss it. I would miss the release, and, you know, I kind of would get confused. Is this the release from April or March? So, you know, I like EPs, and I love full lengths, and I think sometimes bands are a little hesitant to release a full length because maybe they don't understand how to market it right and to time it correctly. But I was really happy to see that you guys were going to do that.
Yeah.
Why was that decision made?
So and this goes back to this guy's view. Like he can see the future.
Yeah.
So the way you talked about having that single being the first single, that was his call. He said, "Hey, I think this is what we got to do." He stated his story. I said, "I agree with you." You know, he hasn't steered me wrong yet musically. So let's keep going. Another thing too was the album. He said, "I think we need to do an album." We intended to do 3 songs at first. Hey, let's do 3 songs, a little demo. He said, "No, I think we need to do an album." Stated his case. We talked about it for months, and we were like, "Let's do the album." So man, it's a lot of it is this guy's call. I mean, he knows what we got to do, and at this point, I'm just like, dude, you make the call. I'm for it because you know what's gonna happen.
I think that's so cool. One, that you trust John to make those calls, and then 2, I think as a new band, you kind of come out and you're making a fucking statement. Here's our full length fucking record. Mm-hmm. Maybe the next one could be an EP after you've already built the foundation of your fan base, you know, and people are like, yeah, we know what these dudes are. I love their music, and you know, I think with a full length, you come out and say, okay, here you go. Here's a fucking full plate of food for you to fucking digest.
Yeah.
And then, you know, come back for dessert.
No, and that's one thing that he said. He's like, dude, we need to do a full. And I'm like, if you think so, man. I was like, okay, like, let's try it. And no, you know, in hindsight, all of his calls have been good. So, you know, at this point, we talk about stuff. Sometimes I don't agree, but we figure out what we got to do. And so far, everything has been doing good. So.
When you released the single for This Life, it wasn't just like here it is on Spotify. You did the video, right? It was like a video single.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so cool now because you have to do that because people are so visual now.
Yeah.
Everybody's online on YouTube, whatever, Facebook, whatever. And the visual part is important. The video single for This Life, the video is super cool. We were talking about the video. Let's talk about it again for the people out there. Share a little bit about the video because I thought it was so well done. I always love to see bands perform. You know, because I was already asking, like, oh, what guitar did you have there? You know, and I love to see people throw down, and kind of gives me a feel for who this band is. But it was also shot so well. I love the shadow work, the red work. So cool, man. I loved it all. I think it came out great.
Thank you. So that's due to Kevin from Crooked Media. Guy's amazing. He does a ton of good videos. Just really good quality. He had a good vision. I kind of told him what I wanted, and he gave me a whole bunch of choices. Do you want to go fast, slow? What type of lens you want to use?
That's cool.
Framework. And I was like, oh man, I need to do my research. So I did it, and we talked, and then it was just lighting. Found a place we wanted to use our flame machines because we've invested into lights, flame machines, fog machines, everything. So we don't have to depend on nobody else but us. And his vision was great. He brought out like a magnifying glass to use some of the lighting for it. Just
wow,
amazing guy.
Yeah,
really
I kind of like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, so y'all did that video in a day?
Yes. 4 hours?
Sunday.
How many
Sunday
times did you play
night.
that song?
Sunday night, yes.
Really?
30, 40. We think we did 30, 40
Yeah,
times.
Rocco, you were like, fuck, I'm tired.
Dude. Kevin had me play that song like 20, 25 times.
You know, Rocco reminds me, remember in that movie, La Bamba? Remember when Bob is in the studio with Richie Valens? He's like, I didn't hear a difference in any take, bro.
Yeah, I didn't hear a difference in any take. Kevin had me play that song like 20, 25 times. These dudes went to Whataburger or something, and I was like, nah, man, I'm fine. I'm good. And so he's like, okay, let's do it in white. Okay, let's do it in red. All right, now I'm going to do the fog. Now I'm not going to do the fog. And I'm barely in the video. I'm like, what's going on, Kev? You know, I was doing stick flips. I was doing twirls. I was making metal faces. Dude.
You're all in shadow.
Dan's covering me the whole time. It's like, why did I even show up?
Exactly.
So, you know, yeah, that's the drummer.
It's
Whatever,
all rock
what
and
do you do?
roll.
It's rock and roll, you know,
It's
the
all
drummer.
rock and roll.
I don't know. Yeah, it's what's best for the band.
And the video on YouTube has like 11,000 views.
Yeah.
More than 11,000 views.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. That's so cool. That means people are sharing it. People are digging it. So that's great. That's a great kind of momentum for the release of the new record. And this interview hopefully will help with that momentum. I hope it does, guys. We've been talking a lot. I think we talk. I want to talk a little bit more. We kind of mentioned new metal earlier, but if someone came to you and said, "What's the style of metal that you play? What or rock that you would play? What do you say? What do you prefer to say?"
I mean, me personally, I say like hard rock. What do you think, John?
I'm saying new metal with it.
I would call it new metal.
That's what I'm saying. No,
I would call
metal.
it new metal.
Dad metal.
Is that dead metal?
I believe a little more new metal, a little bit of hard rock in there too as well, because we have a
Yeah.
little bit of the grooves from new metal and some of the singing.
Yeah, I like the melody and the
Exactly.
vocals. Yeah. Yeah, I would call it new metal because, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm probably wrong, but are you guys playing 7-string guitars? No?
No.
But you're tuning down.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you're tuning down. So I hear the dong, 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 dong. Yeah, yeah. So and that's good. I mean, I love that stuff. To me, that was the trademark of new metal back in the day. And you guys do it so well. I love it.
Yes, I'm a big Mike Mashock fan from Stain, so I love that whole low end.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's so weird you say that dude's name. Wow. Wow, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, whatever. People have so many different genres, you know, whatever people want to call it, that's fine. Just dig it. I dig it, and I love listening to it. So remember, everybody out there, the brand new record from the band, What's Left of Me, will drop in April. Be sure to go out there and look for it. If you follow Rob's on social media, you'll definitely hear us talk about it more and more. And I was asking you this. You guys never played a show before as WESTCREEK.
No. Since 2019, we're in 22 now, and no shows yet. We have shows. We have dates set.
Talk a little bit about. We were talking about your premiere show.
Yeah.
The premiere show this summer,
Premiere
right?
show, yes. Local Disturbance.
Yeah, Julian Cruz.
The Julian Cruz, our boy. Yeah, so we'll be on that show with him. That'll be our first show as of right now.
Don't put him on too early, Julian. We want him like a little later in the evening. Okay? Did you
Yes.
tell Julian I want a fucking 9:30 slot, bro? Or else we're not doing it.
4 o'clock. Oh, man.
Exactly. We're old. That's how we do it now.
Yeah, it is.
Start early. That's what I tell my friends. Start early, end early, bro. Let's pop that first beer at 12:30 and we're done by 6. I'm in bed by 9 after I eat bad foods. So Local Disturbance.
Local Disturbance, and then we have another show in Austin set up around August, and then in November, right, Julian? Yeah, Starlighter. At Starlighter.
What's that? Starlighter. Okay.
So that's what we have so far lined up.
Yeah. How long would you like to support this record? I mean, this is a great record. I think it deserves a lot of support. I mean, and I think that's really cool that you said, okay, we have the show in the summer, one in August, and one in December. So you guys aren't going to be playing out a lot, and I think that's cool too, because sometimes you have bands who play out too much, and if as a fan, like, oh, this band's playing again, like, I'm not going to go because I can just see them next week.
You already seen the show.
I already seen the show. And then if you don't play as often, periodically, 3 times, in a quarter, it's like, okay, well, yeah, I want to go see this band because they don't play very often, and I love their record. So to me, too, that's also a strategy in your marketing that's important, and I'm glad to hear you say that you're not going to overdo it.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's got a degree in marketing over here, so that kind of helps us out.
Yeah,
he has everything that we do is methodical, and it's taken it takes a little longer than we like sometimes, but it's how we're gonna make it happen our way. And one thing that we were talking about was like, let's not do shows every weekend. Let's do this. Obviously, we all have day jobs, so let's make the shows that we do count. Let's make the ones that we do really, really work for, you know, people and go that route. But as far as supporting the album, I know I was talking with John the other day, and man, he told me, he's like, I think we need to start recording the album later this year. I'm like, the next album.
Oh,
like,
really?
Dude, like, I mean, obviously we don't have to release it later this year.
Sure,
but
for sure.
start it. You know, we've already started writing already. Like, we've got material for a second album that we're starting to work on. He's like, I think we need to start recording it. And I'm like, damn, like, we're barely going to release this one. But
Right.
like I said, I'm going to listen to the guy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows what we got to do.
You know, like I said, I'm not a musician, but, you know, I see, you know, I think we kind of feel that we have to be in that mode because of the attention span of the fan base. Okay. Yeah. You know, people are always thinking, okay, we're going to put this record out. It's going to be talked about for a few months, and then, ya se acabó. Okay. So that's kind of like the strategy of why people do EPs now, because they don't want to blow your wad, and then, you know, before you know it, you know, you have to move on to something else because you've lost the public's interest. You know, I think it's a toss-up, but I think that with the quality of this record, that, you know, and the amount of songs that you have on it, that you can maintain the interest, and the stamina of the interest will maintain for at least a year.
Yeah.
And to me, you know, and I'm not a musician, but my fear would be is that, you know, you're focusing on new music and then you kind of lose interest in what you just released, you know. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's a toss up, but like you said, you know, you guys are creative guys. You have to keep working.
I think one thing that is definitely going to help on that aspect, because like I said, we've thought of every scenario. And one thing I think is going to help on that is the live show.
Sure.
You know, we haven't done the live show yet, so we haven't fully enjoyed the songs that we tracked already.
Right.
So we still need to get them on stage, you know, run them out there and show the people, show them the live version of it, and go that way. So I think that'll keep us going. Like I said, I don't think we'll release later this year a second album, but
fuck no.
You know, we're already starting on that next step. So, you know, like I said, there's already music written. And
so this album was finished last year in April, and now we're releasing it this April.
Right.
So
kind of, it's like you guys are already kind of tired of these tracks already. You're like, I'm ready to move on. But see, that's the thing, though. You have to be so careful and strategic, because you guys might be tired of them because, you know, we already did this record and we've been jamming these songs. But the public has not yet heard them or seen them and digested them yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing of why I wanted to start this year, maybe like around November, is I don't want to rush it. I want to take our time, make sure everything's right. I want to record more than an album. And let's choose what we really want for the album. Not just, we're going to these 10 songs only.
Right.
There are some songs in this album that we recorded that I didn't think were going to turn out as good as they did. And I fell in love with them even more because of it. Obviously, Chris's vision helped a lot with it too as well.
Right.
And Daniel's vocals are amazing on it. So I wanted to start early just to get enough tracks under our belts to say, hey, what do we like? Where do we see ourselves going for that album as well?
Right. And, you know, not to say that, you know, obviously you guys are creative guys, but I was talking with Daniel when he first got here tonight. I was like, the band has released kind of singles in the past. Yeah, and will any of those singles be reworked, or you just like, that's old school? Let's just leave it back there.
Me and John, we've talked about. There is actually a cover that we did. It was we should re-release. It was a Duran Duran cover.
Oh, really?
It was, what was it?
Hungry Like a Wolf. I was gonna say that. Hungry Like. I love that song.
Come Undone by Duran Duran. We did a version.
Oh, it's not Hungry Like a Wolf.
No.
Oh, I thought it was. I was like, I love that song.
I wish.
I was like, wow.
No, so we talked about, you know, retracking it, maybe remastering it, and then just re-releasing it out there. It's something that he had worked on, I think, prior to meeting me the third time. I think it was something he had worked on for a while, and you know, me having a little studio at home, I was able to throw him ideas and go with his vision and make it something tangible. So we had talked about it. You know, there's a few singles out there that we released already. That cover was one of them. So we've been talking about, you know, redoing that one.
Sure. Yeah. You know, I can understand leaving things in the past, man. And you know, you're like, oh, like I see some of my old stuff. I'm like, oof. Yeah. Let's leave it. Let's leave it in the archive.
I remember I had a conversation one time with my father, and we were talking about one of the bands that I used to have when I was like out of high school, and he's like, "Man, you know, like these are all good songs, and you're just gonna like let them go." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna write new music. Like I wrote that before. I'll write new stuff."
Cool. Mira, I don't really drink anymore.
Hey.
But I'm with Rob's MetalWorks, and I fuck it.
When in Rome, right?
Wait, exactly. Shit. Thank you, bro.
When in Rome.
Thank you. Yeah. Very cool. So we talked about shows. You mentioned, I think John kind of alluded to the fact that we're going to see some new videos. Yeah. So are you still going to do those videos with Crooked?
We have one done. Well, both are done with somebody else right now. We're still working on them. And one should be released in hopefully about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on time frame when he gets
the
done.
second single. Officially
single.
the second single.
Yes, and then the last video will come out after the album.
Okay. So, yeah. So everyone out there, look for the Remember video. Probably a little bit after you see this interview, it should be out.
Yes.
Sweet. And can you give us a little bit of insight on what this second video is going to be like? Is Rocco going to be running around in his underwears or something?
So Remember is about a relationship. That's just your memories of that person. You're no longer together with them. So we got our good friend Roger Trevino in that video with us.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow, I'm glad you mentioned that. Roger Trevino, we love you, man.
And
he's a good actor. We were talking about that.
Yes.
Great acting skills, Roger.
Yes, and then the other person we have, her name is Daphne Martinez. She was actually...
And so they're breaking up?
Yes, they're breaking up.
Roger's crying and shit?
Sad, upset.
He's got a fucking knife to his fucking...
So we have her. She's actually the singer that we used for Come Undone.
Okay.
Of the cover that we want to re-release.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Who again? Say that.
Her name is Daphne Martinez.
Okay.
She's in Austin.
Oh, okay. Nice. Oh, wow. So it's gonna be more of a fucking script video.
Anyway, yes.
Yeah, not just a playthrough, kind of like jamming, just like a storyline.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. And so the premise of Remember is like lost love or like fuck that bitch.
No, just lost love. Just you just break up. You have your memories of that person. You move on, and that's it.
Wow.
So.
Fuck that. I don't want to remember, bro.
No, and that kind of goes into like my writing style lyrically is I try to write something where, you know, obviously something real where people can understand, but I try to leave little details out so it's open to interpretation. People who have gone through similar stuff can get into it, you know, lyrically and understand it and feel it, but I try to leave some details out so it reaches more people. More people can relate to the song than normal, and that's been a huge way of you know, writing the lyrics that I do is leaving it open to interpretation.
And that's so cool too, because like I can hear the song and understand what you're saying. Mm-hmm. I can go with the lyrics, so really kind of hear the message in there. I don't have to really try to figure it out. That's great, man. Guys, as we near the end of this interview, is there anything I missed? Anything you want to share? Anything you want to cover before we end out? Is there anything that I
think Rocco might say something?
I have no idea what I'm about to say right now, but I have the microphone in my hand. And we'll just go. Rob, what did you think of the album?
I love the record. I really do. And you know what? I swear, I listen to that record probably almost every day.
That's awesome, man.
I at least give it a spin every day. And I let it run the whole way through. And by the time I get to This Life Again, I'm like, okay, I already heard the whole record. And so then I'll change it. But I love the record. I really do. And if I didn't, you guys wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Absolutely.
I'm a fan. And that's why, that's what Rob's is. You know, I want to share music with our viewership of music that I love and that I'm listening to every day. So yeah, I love the record. It's in my. You guys, we were jamming into it right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's in my phone. I listen to it. So great record. And I think when you think about, and I think maybe we should end out on this note. When you think about what's happening in our San Antonio metal scene, okay, and even South Texas metal scene, because I hear music from all over our region, I get stuff and I'm like, this is cool, and then I get stuff and I'm like, okay, these guys are cool, but they're not there yet, okay, and then I hear stuff and I'm like, oh God, it's like a fucking home run. This record's a home run in my book. The production, the lyrics, the songs. It's all good. It's all good. So I was like, that's why when I heard it last year, I was like, oh man. And I've been friends with Daniel for a while, so I'm like, dude, we need to get WESTCREEK on the show, bro. I want to fucking support this record. And I think it was a blessing that we got postponed a couple of times, because now the record's gonna come out next year. This interview is gonna be far more relevant because the record is coming out next month, and people are gonna remember it and look for it. If we would have done this back in November, everybody would have forgot, like Rob promote our record coming out. But so I think it was kind of like a blessing that we got postponed, and we're doing this tonight. So everybody out there, again, be sure to look for the record. Yeah, man, loved it.
Rob, thank you so much for having us. Remember to go support San Antonio Metal. Thank you, JC Productions. Julian's the best. Go check out local San Antonio bands.
Yeah.
It means so much to us. I mean, just go listen to local stuff, because we need it. We need to be a community. We need to be a family. We need to help each other. We're all friends. We need to stay tight knit. Share everybody's stuff. It's just, we love y'all. Thank you, Rob, for having us.
Sweet, man. It's my pleasure. And as we had Rocco share his last words, I would like everybody else to share a few last words. So Eddie, why don't you go next?
Go for it, Eddie.
Any thank yous, any love, anything, man?
Yeah, well, when this record comes out, I hope y'all jam it, man, because it's something. It's a lot of hard work that we put in there, and good times, man. And I want to thank you, Rob, for having us, man.
You're welcome.
I used to watch this when I was little, man.
Oh God, you're making me feel old.
But yeah, man, this is cool, man.
Dude,
and,
I'm only 35, bro.
And yeah, man, much love to everybody, and rock on, man.
Yeah.
Rob, thank you for having us, man. Like Eddie said, I used to watch you since the beginning, man.
Wow.
Like the Rabbit. And thank you for everything you do for San Antonio, for the metal scene.
Thank you.
For local bands. It's extremely important to us that we have someone like you representing us in Texas and in San Antonio. It means a lot, honestly, to be here. This is one of my bucket list things I wanted to do.
Really?
I planned it for last year.
You're
Happened,
here.
so I'm here. So please, everyone, check out the record. It's about 3 years of writing, getting it done. And thank you, honestly. Thank you.
And John, I want to thank you. I was listening. I was hearing about you earlier because I was talking to Daniel, and we've never met, and it's a beautiful thing to know that you've been a fan of our program. But I want to thank John for bringing this wonderful peanut butter whiskey to my house, and we've been sipping on it tonight, John and I, and it's delicious. And I want to thank John for bringing me a cigar, and Daniel for bringing me a shirt. You guys know what's up. Yeah, so I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it very much. Having a good time. So we'll let the man finish out.
Yeah, Rob. I mean, it's great to be here again. I enjoyed last time when you invited me. I remember even when JC told me, hey, Rob wants to talk with you.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, Rob, like the guy I would watch on TV. Like, no, man, from the bottom of my heart, man, I really appreciate you even listening to our album and taking the time to listen to it. We really appreciate it. Love you, man.
You're welcome, man. And I love you too. Thank you so much, all of you guys, for taking the time tonight to come over and hang with me. I hope you're not leaving quite yet, because I still want to talk music with you. Guys, this is a beautiful record. I can quickly recognize all the hard work you put into it, and I hope for nothing but great things for you as we continue in 2022. I will continue to support you. Daniel Bass, you know, I love the solo record too, and we're not even going to talk about the second solo record. I know it's somewhere in the future, but you are quickly becoming, you know, one of San Antonio's next big songwriters and talents in our scene, and it's a beautiful thing to see that someone can come out of obscurity, really come out of obscurity and make such a huge impact without even you, like you're kind of like a passive, quiet guy. Yeah. You know, you're not so loud and flamboyant, and you don't really, you know, have to be out there kind of marketing yourself or selling yourself as much as some other musicians do. But you just kind of let the music speak for itself. And that in and of itself says a lot. And I love people like that. I love musicians like that because, you know, hey, you know, I don't got to do that. My music speaks for itself. And you're making a huge impact, bro. So I love all you guys very much. Thank you, all of you, for coming tonight. Remember, everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed the interview tonight with the band. Their brand new record, What's Left of Me, is going to drop soon after you watch this interview in April. Remember, you saw WESTCREEK only right here on Rob's